And welcome to Ask 9. My name is Jim Mertens. Jackson Valenti is joining us right now. How you doing, sir?
Doing excellent.
You have covered a story that is, and I don't know how to say this, disturbingly effective, I guess.
Yes.
And it involved Manchester police. Can you give me a little bit of a background?
Yeah, so for the past, really since September, the Manchester Police Department really has been kind of doing, I guess you could call it like a passion project. Mm-hmm. One police officer has made a number of fake accounts where he will use AI to digitally alter photos of himself to make him look 15, appear as a 15-year-old boy, go on various, social media platforms, dating platforms, whatever the case may be. And pretty much their goal is to see, okay, are we going to see anyone with predatory behavior, mm-hmm. interacting with us inappropriately? They expected, 10, 15, they got hundreds. So they were,
and this is about a 4-month operation that's so
correct.
Far. Mm-hmm. When you're saying hundreds of contacts, what does that mean? I guess
a bunch of the contacts, are totally normal and there's nothing wrong with it. Roughly 200 of them were.
Wait a second. When you're saying roughly normal, I mean, were all 140 like adults?
So there were several hundreds, as in like 500 to 1,000 plus. In total, you've got 200 people of those group that are interacting in like significantly inappropriately in some way that is very wrong.
Knowingly that it's a 15-year-old boy that they believe they're communicating with.
And it's interesting how they kind of operate these accounts. They there's no kind of entrapment going. Like they don't pretend to be 18 and then the last second's like, oh, I'm actually 15. Out the gate, they're very clear, like, hey, I'm 15. This is my situation. All these people that have interacted with this account, I mean, it doesn't happen by accident, is I guess what they are ensuring by the way that they run these.
Yeah, and we were talking about the fact that, like you said, they were surprised. They were a little bit shocked at just how effective it was because they were expecting maybe a few dozen responses and instead they get hundreds.
Hundreds. They've gotten 140 people who sent explicit photos to their fake accounts. Or tried to request a meetup. They've had several arrests as a result of this. Their spoilers, they can't get into it exactly, but there likely will be more arrests as a result of that operation.
And let's take a look actually right now at that original story that aired about a week ago to this day.
Kids are on these platforms every day.
Manchester police officer Joshua McCraney has spent the last 4 months making many fake social media accounts. He takes photos of himself and uses AI to make himself look 15.
I mean, if you can imagine me, I guess, I'm 36 now, but if you can imagine me as a 15-year-old.
The good and bad news is those fake accounts received much more attention than the Manchester Police Department ever expected.
I was thinking that we were probably going to get 10, 15 people. I know on one account within the first day, I think I got 78.
Thursday evening, McCraney and Manchester Police Chief Ben Davis presented a group of parents the results after 4 months of running fake accounts. In total, around 140 people during that time sent unsolicited nude photos or requested to meet up with undercover officers' accounts posing as 15-year-old boys.
It's not a stretch to say that this couldn't happen to a young boy or girl in Manchester.
McCraney also showed a series of text messages from one of the accounts. He said people online often jumped from normal conversation to asking for nude photos in just 2 to 3 texts. And he said predators online especially target kids with difficult home lives.
These predators will latch onto that. So then they'd be like, hey, if you need anybody to talk to at any time, call me, snap me, chat me.
McCraney says parents should warn their children about sharing personal, identifying information online. He says parents should not try to keep their kids off the internet, but they should monitor how their kids interact with strangers.
That is a week ago. So let's talk about that. Parents should be able to talk to their kids, to tell them how to interact here on the web. And of course, there's also the other part that the officer was saying was that a lot of times these children are more vulnerable, more susceptible. And sometimes that's because they don't have necessarily a good home life, or there is that disconnect.
Correct. As it often seems is the case, the people that generally are the victims of this are people that are at the weakest positions. People who have been properly educated about how to handle strangers probably are not the ones that are dealing with this the most. I mean, just from what they're seeing and the way that they handle their accounts, they'll kind of put obviously a fake, but a story in their accounts where they're posing as 15-year-olds where maybe they're saying the parents are away, or maybe they're saying the parents aren't home often, and that information from what they've found usually is something that people who are interacting with them inappropriately, they latch onto that. So it's something that absolutely this predatory behavior will happen against kids who already are in tough spots.
Well, and it doesn't matter if you're in Manchester or Milwaukee or Chicago. I mean, it is directly, and this is, I think, what's so nerve-wracking for parents. It is in your home. It is a crime that could be happening upstairs in your home. And so that invasion really does hit home, literally, for so many families.
It's just really important to educate kids about this. One thing that they've been trying to do over the past couple of months, and they will continue to do this, especially as the school year goes on, is to get into every school in the area and just do a quick presentation with all these kids. I know kids are going to see police officers in school and they're going to be bored by these presentations, but a certain level of this, just knowing this information, and to have parents know this information too, is very important, just to know what the red flags are, what to stay away from, because the internet is ubiquitous. It's not like you're going to keep your 15-year-old child off the internet realistically. So that's probably not a viable solution. You're probably not going to keep your kid off social media. It's just, and you don't want to watch every single thing that they do either. But at the same time, just keeping tabs on your children, of course, and having them educated, having parents educated about here's what the danger looks like.
Well, and once again, this is a story that aired a week ago, and tonight on the KCRG TV9 News at 10, you're going to be doing an update on this story. Can you give us a little bit of a preview of what's happened in, the 7 days since this story aired?
So I can tell you there has been another arrest. Interestingly, this arrest is kind of an unusual one, and in my understanding, it's actually the first of its kind in the Manchester Police Department. It's an arrest out of state, and it's an arrest that takes advantage of a somewhat recently enacted child grooming law. I kind of paint a picture here because let's say 5 years ago, if someone was sending someone that they thought to be 15 unsolicited nude photos, if they were requesting meetups, but they never actually tried to meet up with that person that they believe is a child.
Physical attempt.
Exactly. If there's no real physical attempt, police, obviously know that that's wrong. No one was going to sit there and tell them that's wrong, but there's no criminal statute, so they couldn't really prosecute. They maybe will understand that these people probably are looking for an opportunity to do something.
But it wasn't clear in case law. It wasn't clear in law. You would think there would be a pornography issue, but still, the law has changed in Iowa to make this more easily to use this new law for these types of cases.
It's much easier with having the statute in place. Like you said, there were definitely avenues where you could go, but realistically, before, grooming was more of a thing that built a case on something else.
I see.
There was some other type of harassment, or certainly, there could be instances of, if you're requesting child pornography, right? But it was a lot harder to do it before. And certainly for a police department that is as small as Manchester's, a city of 6,000 people, to get several hundred, potential cases of child grooming is a lot to take on, and something that they could not have done before with a bunch of extra hoops.
Well, and let's talk about that for a moment longer, because it's called Operation Castle. It's being done by Manchester Police. Did they get a special grant? Is this something that they had to do something in order to be able to pay for this officer to set up this account and get the ball rolling? That's the first question. The second question is this going to be a continuous project for Manchester Police?
The answer to the first question is they actually don't have any real grant or anything. This actually stems from I don't know the exact name of the class, but one of their officers, just one, went to a class in Des Moines where they basically said, okay, here's how we can combat child grooming, here's how it's evolving online, because obviously some of these officers, if you're a 40, 50-year-old officer, this stuff would...
Yeah, you're just not savvy.
This wasn't, but it didn't really exist. Yeah. These social media platforms,
yes.
This crime didn't exist in the same manner as it does today. Right. It's totally different now. So they really just had one officer go to the class where they learn what the landscape of it looks like, how to set up an account, how to monitor, predatory behavior, and that's it. No grant money. I mean, after they saw the amount of attention these accounts got, the Manchester police chief told me, he was like, okay, we need to dedicate some more resources to this.
Yeah. So what is happening? I mean, it's obviously not something that they're shutting down right away.
They've put a team together for it. They're hoping that the numbers go down. The numbers, I mean, that'd be great.
It's sadly effective, but we're happy it's effective.
Yes, sadly, numbers are really high. The basic message from the Manchester chief of police is, hey, as long as numbers are high, we are going to keep dedicating staff to this. That one officer in particular likely is going to keep doing this as long as it is working and as long as it's catching people with, in the act of predatory behavior online. There's no reason to believe that they're not going to stop. They're going to keep doing this. There's likely going to be more arrests and more charges. You obviously can't tell me the details of that as that's going on, but there's going to be more.
And we're talking about one small department, but we're talking about a vast internet issue that stretches around the globe. And you would think that there are other police departments. If this officer learned from going to class that other departments, of course, are trying to implant and do the exact same thing and catch as many of these people as possible.
I mean, a lot of the people that are caught in Manchester, not everybody's going to be from Manchester. I mean, this is the internet. There's going to be people from outside of the city. But, I mean, think about this happening in that small of an area. Mm-hmm. Think about what would happen if, you had a team of officers in Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, the amount of the ease at which this was implemented in Manchester is shocking. It's not like this took a ton of money or time or resources. I mean, literally, it all started with a singular officer. I mean, honestly, treating it like a passion project of, I'm going to make some accounts, I'm going to use AI to make me look 15, and that's it.
They got to also feel somewhat good about the fact that they're doing good. They're stopping crimes against children.
I think what's really, he mentioned that too when I spoke with the police chief today before, because the police chief was telling me he has a background in cases that are like this, but where he's often had times in the past where you maybe can't prosecute. Something's wrong, but you have to find something else or something else has to happen. And it can be a long, sometimes a process where it may be unnecessarily long to try to get that justice for the victim. In short, it is easier to get justice for victims now.
And underlining that these are victims. It's not a victimless crime by any means.
No, absolutely not.
All right, Jackson, we really look forward to your story that is coming up. See, I knew that was going to happen. Do I do it again? Let me see what happens. Bam, and no, I'm just going to do this. If you got questions, just message KCRG on Facebook. Email us, Ask9. And look forward to Jackson's story. It is coming up tonight on the KCRG News at 10. It's going to be great to see an update on a story like this that is so important. And we want to thank you for joining us for Ask9. Of course, we're available here every weekday at 5:30, so we hope to see you again coming up. So once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight.